Hello, Math Enrichment students. Let's talk about fractions and multiplying with negative numbers. Okay, so we're going to talk about multiplying fractions with negative numbers. And before we start, let's do a quick review of multiplying when we have a number that is negative in the problem. And I'm going to turn my background off because it's slowing down my computer today. Okay, so if both numbers have the same sign when you're multiplying, the answer is always positive. If the numbers have different signs, then the number is always negative. This works for both multiplying and dividing, but today we're just going to be talking about multiplying fractions that have a negative number involved. Okay, so before we get to fractions, let's quickly review these rules for multiplying with negative numbers. So -5 times -6, both of the numbers are negative. When you multiply a negative times a negative, you get an answer that is positive. The second one is -5 times +6. We just have one negative sign here. A negative times a positive would give us a negative answer. The third one, -8 times -4, they're both negative. Negative times a negative is a positive. And finally, the third one, 4 times -8. The 4 is positive, the 8 is negative, therefore the answer is negative. Okay, so if both of the numbers are negative, your answer is positive. If only one of them is negative and the other one is positive, then your answer is negative. Okay, here's one of the questions you might see in Moodle this week. It says to drag and drop the correct solution into each box. -3 times -8. They're both negative. The answer is positive 24. I can't drag and drop here, so I'm going to just very neatly type in the answer. 8 times -3. This time we just have one negative number here, so the answer is going to be -24. Okay. The third problem, -5 times -8. You should immediately identify that they're both negative, and so the answer is going to be positive 40. Okay. And then -5 times +8 would give you -40. Okay, the last set of problems here, 4 times -7, positive times a negative, the answer is -28. And -7 times -4, they're both negative, your answer is positive. Okay, so the rules for multiplying with negative numbers are super easy. There's just two rules you need to remember. So let's take a look at doing the same skill with fractions. And first we're going to review quickly right here the multiplying fraction by a fraction rules. Step one, you have to make sure you have fractions. Okay, so in this example up here, we get 3/4 times 1/2. We set the problem up. Step two, you multiply your numerators together at the top, and you multiply your denominators together on the bottom. So we multiply straight across. 3 times 1 is 3, and 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, step three, if you can simplify, you do. 3/8 is already simplified, so we're done. Okay, so let's look at these two problems that have a negative fraction involved. The first one, 1/2 times -3/4. When you look at that, you should automatically note that one is positive and one is negative. Therefore, my answer is going to be negative. Let's go ahead and put that in there right at the start. Then we multiply the numerators. 1 times 3 is 3. And on the bottom, 2 times 4 is 8. Okay, so we got negative. Let me put a nice little box around this. 3/8 is our final answer. Okay, let's look at the second problem. Now this time we've got a negative fraction times a negative fraction. That means my answer is going to be positive for this one. Multiply straight across. 3 times 1 is 3. 8 times 4 is 32. Let's put the straighter line there. 32. And that cannot be simplified, so we are done. The answer to this problem is positive 3/32.